Hey everybody, it's Kelly Zank with KZ Crusties, and in this video I'm going to show you how I made bin enclosures for my two crested geckos. I have two juvenile geckos right now. My little female I just got a couple weeks ago. She's in a smaller bin. She's definitely ready to come out of quarantine into a bigger enclosure. So I made this video to show you guys the tools and the products that I used to create one of, I think, a pretty decent enclosure for being a bin enclosure. So let's get to it. So I used a 56 quart bin that I got from Target, and I started by drilling the holes around the top of the bin in kind of a staggered formation. I did this all the way around except for the front of the bin. And then I used just a basic DVD case to measure my front opening for ventilation. And then I used a soldering iron to actually cut the plastic for the opening. This soldering iron was really cheap. I got it off of Amazon for about 10 bucks. I highly suggest you do this in a really ventilated area because it can cause some fumes and such. Then I went ahead and glued the screen onto the front. And once that was dry, I added the pipe insulation for some basic purchase. One thing I do want to mention about the pipe insulation tubes is that they're not all created equal. This one I got from Menards, local Menards here, and this one I got from Home Depot. As you can see, the one from Menards, you can squeeze it pretty easily, whereas the one from Home Depot, it's just a little more sturdy. It also has a little bit more texture, which I think is really beneficial to the geckos because it creates some adhesive. They're both very similar in price. The one from Home Depot is about 15 cents more. So my recommendation is to go with the brand from Home Depot. Those perches actually that I'm putting up there now did not stick very well. They actually came off really, really easily a few minutes later. So for some reason the hot glue does not stick very well to the side of the enclosure. But that was my basic setup for perches in the beginning. And then I added the little bamboo there. Once everything was good and dry, I added the hide. I provide a human hide and a dry hide for the geckos because I'm using paper towel as a substrate. We want to be able to add a hide with some eco earth in it as well. One thing to keep in mind when you're adding fake plants, the suction cups do not stick to the plastic very well, so it is helpful to get them a little bit wet in order for them to stick. And also in the future, just keep an eye on them. I check them every few days to make sure everything is sticking really well. And you also want to add in some wood or cork bark to your enclosure for hides and for climbing. Providing enrichment for the geckos is really important. I went through here and reorganized things a few different times because I'm a little bit of a type A. And then you also want to add your thermostat. Thermostats are super important, one that measures humidity and temperature. I highly recommend a digital thermostat. It's also a really good idea to spray your tank or your enclosure and let it sit for 24 hours and watch the humidity and temperature and measure it with the thermostat. Most of those thermostats, the ones from Zoomed and Terra, will record the highest and lowest humidity and temperature for 24 hours to make sure that your ventilation is correct. And if it's not correct, you can easily add more ventilation or cover up some ventilation. Gotta give it a nice spray. And last but not least, we're gonna add the gecko. Yay! And here they are, all finished. Pop them open here. This one is my male's enclosure, and I'm sure he's somewhere hiding. He's probably right there in that log or back under there. So I went a little bit and spent some more money than I really intended to right away. I noticed that they were a little bit stressed out with not enough foliage and things to hide under. So total, a lot of his came from his other enclosure. My female here, as you can see, she was the one that I actually made in the video, and it's been a few weeks. I added a couple more things. Hopefully she won't decide to dive out here. But so I added a little more foliage. I actually do also have a cork log coming. It's actually in the mail right now, and she's been doing really, really well. After I added more foliage, she's been a lot more calm. She's eating a little bit better. It's not uncommon for them to not eat for a couple days after you change their enclosure, but I'm really happy with it. The humidity for in these bins has actually been really, really sustainable. Even with the bigger ventilation in the front, I miss them about once a day. I usually check in the morning to see how their humidity is doing. And yeah, so that's the finished product right there. I got the thermostats. I've got, this one is the Xtero, this one is the Zoomed. Zoomed is a little less expensive, and it comes with these two probes. So one is humidity, and then the temperature probe right here, which, as you can see, it's down there. It's a little stick down there. The Xtero actually will record the highest and lowest humidity levels. So if you check it every single day, you can see what your highest and lowest temperature and humidity is, which is nice, especially if you have an animal that you need to be kind of on the ball with humidity. The Zoomed does not do that, which is why it's a little bit cheaper. However, sometimes you might want the extra cord if you have something like a sand boa or an animal that's underground. It's nice to have the probe to go underground. So it really doesn't matter so much. I guess it's just your prerogative. For crested geckos, unless you live somewhere or the certain time of the year, their temperature is, can be tricky to kind of keep, and humidity can be tricky. It might be nice to have the Xtero thermostat. But yeah, that's it. I'm pretty happy. All in all, I would say these this bin cost probably $90, including all of the extra stuff I bought. You certainly don't have to do that. I just went ahead and did it. I personally like the way it looks. I think that my geckos enjoy being on leaves. I've noticed that I've got this particular plant, which I got off of Amazon, in both of their enclosures. There's a small one down there, and then this is the taller one, and they seem to really, really enjoy being on it and climbing on it. I clean poop off of it regularly, so they enjoy that. You have other options. A lot of people will use the egg cartons, which I think are perfectly fine, and they're really cheap, and you can easily replace them. With this type of setup, I clean each of them every week or so, but I do every 2 weeks. So I'll clean one week and one the other week, and I also just keep an eye on spot clean regularly. So cleaning can be a little bit obnoxious. You have to take everything out. I fill the sink up with soapy water, and I pretty much just wipe everything through and let it soak if it needs to soak. But yeah, that's them. So thanks for watching the video. I will put links in the comments, or excuse me, I'll put links in the description for all of the products that I used for here. Most of this foliage stuff I just got off of Amazon. I'll put a few of those links in there, or you can kind of just search yourself to figure out what you like. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and hit that notification button, because I'm going to be doing a couple more videos. I'll actually get the geckos out.
You can see them. They're actually very, very asleep right now, which is good. I think that you have a good enclosure for geckos when you can't find them. Yeah.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video about how I built a bin enclosure for my geckos. They're going to be in these enclosures probably for the next 6 months to a year until we get their bioactive tanks going. So if you enjoyed this video, please like it, please share it, leave me a comment below and tell me how you're keeping your geckos. Tell me if you've found any product or any tools that work really well for creating enclosures. Again, my name is Kelly Zank, and this is KZ Cresties. I hope you guys have an awesome day.